Okay. So one more example for this bulk insert. So create table XX pivot data. You can have pivot ID and segment 1 where cut of 20 here. So it is here. Table to open. Now I'm going to create a new table with this. So now in this table we don't have any data. So we'll insert the data using this bulk collect method. So declare type T1 is table of XPO underscore data percentage row type LV underscore pivot data T1 type. Cursor C1 is select pivot ID, comma segment 1 from pivot result table where row number less than or equals to 100. Okay. Begin. Open C1, fetch C1, bulk collect into LV underscore pivot data. Close C1. DBMS output underscore line of total count. LV underscore pivot data dot count. And for all I in one dot LV underscore pivot underscore data dot count. Insert into XPO data values LV underscore pivot data of I. Commit and DBMS output underscore line of number of rows inserted. So before that we'll see the how many records in this table. XPO underscore data. So there is no data initially in this table. So I'm going to execute this anonymous block. So it will insert the records here. So how many records it is taking? In the cursor we are taking where row number less than or equals to 100. So that 100 it will print using this insert into this table. Okay. Total count 100, number of rows inserted 0 it is printing. Why? So data got inserted, but when you see this number of rows inserted is 0 it is mentioning. So here SQL percentage row count it is taking 0. Okay. So total count 100 it is taking and it is inserted in this table. If you want you can check this table how many records are there. So here count it is showing 100 here if you see here. Okay. This is about the bulk mechanism. In this bulk mechanism we are going to use the bulk collect and bulk bind. In the bulk bind for all we are using. So this is the keyword we have to remember for all. So whereas in the bulk collect only we are using the bulk collect keyword. So bulk collect into. But bulk bind we are using the for all also. Okay. For all is the main keyword we have to use. So next we have the ref cursors. So ref cursors are used user defined type which is used to process multiple records. Generally the static cursors we are using only to select statements at a time for single active set area. The query associated with normal cursor has to be defined as part of the cursor declaration itself. In diff cursors, we are executing number of select statements dynamically for a single active set area. That is why these type of cursors are called as dynamic cursors. This query is not associated at the declaration, rather the query is associated at the runtime. Diff cursors are user-defined type, so we are creating in two-step process. So first we are creating type and then only we are creating a variable of the type. That is why these type of cursors are called as a cursor variables. There are two types of ref cursors supported by the Oracle. One is strong ref cursor and another is weak ref cursor. Okay. Strong ref cursor is a ref cursor which is having a return type. So weak ref cursor is a ref cursor which does not have the return type. So what is the syntax for this? Strong ref cursor and weak ref cursor. Type name is ref cursor, return record type data type is the strong ref cursor, and type name is ref cursor. This is the weak cursor, weak ref cursor. So in ref cursor, so we are executing select statements using open for statements. These statements are executed in executable section of the PLSQL block. The normal cursor, how will you use this? We'll see the difference here. Declare cursor EMP name is select ename from EMP. Cursor DEPT underscore name is select dname from DEPT. So two cursors I am defining here, and one variable LV underscore name varchar of 50. Begin dbms output underscore name of employee details. So open EMP underscore name is the cursor one. This cursor we are opening. Loop fetch EMP underscore name into LV underscore name. Exit when EMP underscore name percentage not found. TVMS output LV underscore name and loop. Close EMP underscore name. After that, TVMS output put underscore line of department details we are taking. Open DEPT underscore name. Loop fetch department name into LV underscore name. Exit when DEPT name percentage not found. Okay. So DBMS output we are printing the name and loop close DEPT underscore name and so we are getting the employee details here. So this is using the normal cursor. So here it is printing after the employee details, it is printing the department details here. So in the normal cursor, we have to define the cursor name at the time of declaration. Okay, correct now? So weak ref cursor, how will you use this one? In the weak ref cursor, we are not mentioning this. The type T1 is ref cursor we are mentioning here. Okay. So this is about the normal cursor. Here as a weak ref cursor is so type T1 is ref cursor. V1 now is the V underscore T of T1. IEMP percentage row type. Begin open V underscore T for select star from EMP. So open V underscore T for select star from EMP we are mentioning here. So we are not defining any cursor here. So directly we are opening the cursor here. Open V1 underscore V underscore T for select star from EMP. Loop fetch V underscore T into I. Exit when v underscore t does not found. So this is the weak ref cursor. In this weak ref cursor, so what is the? So here type name is ref cursor. This is only the we are mentioning. Coming to the strong ref cursor, we are mentioning as type name is ref cursor return. So this is the return keyword is important in this strong ref cursor. Whereas in the weak ref cursors, only we are mentioning the type name is ref cursor. That is only the difference here. So coming to here, weak ref cursor, we are executing here. Type T1 is ref cursor. So when I execute this, I'm getting the employee name and salary. So weak ref cursor for specific column. How to use this one? Declare type XX ref cursor type is ref cursor. So this is the weak ref cursor. If you observe here, we are mentioning only ref cursor. Okay, no return mentioned here, so that it is weak ref cursor only. So ref cursor XX ref cursor type here we are mentioning. LV underscore var1 type var2 of 30, LV underscore var2 type var2 of 20. Two variables we are taking here. Begin DBMS output line of employee details. Open cref cursor for select ename comma salary from EMP. Loop fetch C1 ref cursor into LV underscore var1 underscore type comma LV underscore var2 underscore type. Exit when cref cursor percentage not found. And we are using the DBMS output, and in this we are printing the values. Cursor row count and variable type and salary is L1 LV underscore var2 of type. So here king salaries, king name and salaries, and is salary printing. So after that, department details it is printing. Accounting, research, sales, operations, and all the department numbers it is printing. So after that, we are taking the pivot all table. So department number here, if you see this department details, it is. And after that, here we are printing the pivot ID segment 1 details here. So pivot ID details it is printing. Department number is like that, it is printing 50, 300. Some of the examples here. So strong ref cursor using different table type, it will throw the errors. That means whenever you are using the ref cursors, so this is the example for the strong ref cursor is. So declare type XX ref cursor type is ref cursor return. So we are mentioning this return keyword. So that means this is the strong ref cursor. And we are using this EMP percentage row type. And variables we are using C ref cursor, XXRE ref cursor type. LV underscore EMP type, EMP percentage row type, LV underscore department type, DEPT percentage type. Two variables I am taking as a row type of the employee table and row type of the department table here. So begin. DBMS output underscore lineup, cursor 1 details. Open crif cursor for select star from EMP loop, fetch crif cursor into LV underscore EMP underscore type. Exit one, crif cursor percentage not found. And DBMS output, we are printing this employee number, employee name, job. And loop, close C1 cursor, and it is printing the employee number, employee name, job type. So this is the strong ref cursor. Okay. So in the strong ref cursor, if you use the different table, what will happen? Using this strong ref cursor, within this, I am using the different tables here. If you see here, declare type, XX ref cursor type is ref cursor, return EMP percentage row type. So and in this executable section, I am printing open cref cursor for select star from DEPT. Okay. So if you see this is the select star from DEPT, it is there. And whereas in this, I am taking the cursor return is EMP percentage row type. So I am taking the EMP percentage row type, but in the cursor open statement, I am declaring the another table name here. C cursor for select star from DEPT. Then it will throw the error. Wrong number of values into list of fetch statement. Okay. So we have to be careful while using the table. So here we are using the EMP percentage row type, and here in this we are using the select statement DEPT table. So due to that we are getting the error here. Suppose if you take EMP, then it will print this into fetch statement where it is EMP percentage row type here, and here also we have to take this variable LV underscore EMP type. This variable we have to consider here. And here everywhere we have to replace this variable name. So that means whatever the table name we are taking in the ref cursor definition, the table name only you have to consider. Okay. And in this there is no dname. So here EMP number I can take, and location is not there. I can say job, department number, employee number, job I am taking, and I am printing this variable. So we have to be careful what table we are mentioning in the cursor specification here. So same table we have to use in this cursor body also here. Same that is in the execution section also we have to consider same thing. Okay. So otherwise it will throw the error. So and one more we have the ref cursors of type sys ref cursors also it is there. So is always this ref cursor is always a weak ref cursor only. So how to identify this? So how will you define that one means you can have this example. So declare type. This is the I'm commenting here. So previously in this example type we are defining here type XX ref cursor type, all these things we are defining here. So if you mention the return, this is the strong ref cursor. If you are not mentioning return, this will be a weak ref cursor. Okay. So here I am mentioning C ref cursor, this ref cursor type. Okay. So in the above example, if you see here, type we are mentioning, type XX ref cursor type is ref cursor return and EMP percentage row type. Coming here, this is commented here, and this C ref cursor of type we are mentioning as a sys ref cursor. Okay, so directly mentioning this is a sys ref cursor. LV underscore EMP type, EMP percentage row type, LV underscore DEPT type, DEPT percentage row type. Begin DBMS output line of cursor 1 details and open cref cursor for select star from EMP. Fetch cref cursor into LV underscore EMP underscore type. Exit 1 cref cursor percentage not found. DBMS output employee number, employee name, employee job I am printing, and loop close ref cursor. And so every time you have to, whenever you are opening the cursor, you must close the cursor. So we are not mentioned the whether it is a strong ref cursor or ref cursor using this syntax, but by using the directly sys underscore ref cursor, we are assigning this variable to sys underscore ref cursor. Okay. So sys ref cursor always is a weak ref cursor only. Okay. This is about this ref cursors. So how to use this in the functions. So we'll create a one function here, create or replace F1 P underscore department number in number we are using return sysref cursor. In the cursors functions also we can use the ref cursors here. So what we are mentioning here, function will return some value or compulsory data it has to return. So you are mentioning the return sysref cursor. Create or replace function F1 P underscore department number in number return sysref cursor is LV underscore name list sysref cursor. Begin open LV underscore name list for select ename salary from EMP where department number is equals to P underscore department number. Return LV underscore name list. Okay. So in this, whatever the details it is fetching here, all this will be stored into this cursor here, LV underscore name list. Okay. To execute, call this function, how will you use this? You can use anonymous block. Declare LV underscore name list is sysref cursor, LV underscore name where cutoff 20, LV underscore salary number. Begin LV underscore name list assignment operator F1 of 10. So this is the function we have created. For this function, I am passing the department number 10. Getting the output into this, that is return output. Whatever we mentioned in this return, so this is the sysref cursor type, and this value we are fetching here. So we are using the loop fetch LV underscore name list into LV underscore name again here, comma LV underscore salary. Exit when LV underscore name list percentage not found. DBMS output underscore line of LV underscore name and get net LV underscore salary and loop end. So that means we are defining one more two variables here and getting this list into this variable LV underscore name list where I am getting the total list, whatever the department number 10 is there for that employee number, salary I am fetching into this LV underscore name list. With this, I am using again fetching this list into this local variables LV underscore name, LV underscore salary, and using that I am printing here. Okay. Suppose if you are passing department number 20, then I will get this and this is the department number 10, this is the department number 20. So if you want to include, you can add the DEPT number also here. Okay. Same way, you can add here one more variable. We have to add the one more variable here in the anonymous block. Here also you can add. Here you can concatenate. Okay. So that with the department number you can get it. First you have to compile the function, and after that you have to use the anonymous block. If you see here, department number 20. So if I mention department number 30, it is printing department number 30 details here. Okay. So these cursors were not defining at the time of declaration. Okay. So if cursors were not defining at the time of declaration, but while running this, we are defining this. While executing, we are defining the cursors here. Okay. That is the main difference for normal cursor and drift cursors. Okay. So next, one more topic is there, CTE. So in the CTE, common table expression. What is meant by CTE means there is a common table expression. In Oracle SQL, a common table expression is a powerful tool that allows you to define a temporary result set that can be referenced within a select or insert or update or delete statements. Okay, so that CTE will continue tomorrow. Okay, there are few examples. With that, this PLSQL topics will be completed. Okay, tomorrow we will complete this topic, and tomorrow is the closing also for the SQL and PLSQL topics. So Ramu sir will tell you when it will start apps class. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow.